What's up, Zex? How you doing, man? I need to turn the audio down. Give me a second. As soon as I can get into gameplay. Been very tired and depressed, but I'm hanging in there. The usual. Let me get the options and turn the sound down. It's really loud. I don't know what it is with games being, like, overwhelmingly loud. I got a review key for a game that I legitimately could not review because it didn't have volume settings. Now, on the PC version, I still need to get around to that, but I bought it on the Switch, and I can't review it because I can't turn the volume down. And the game is like, it feels like it's gonna blow the Switch's speakers out. It should be like the bare minimum. Battle Axe is another one. I wanted to do a review for that, but I bought it on Switch, and there's no volume option, and the game it basically would not be able to hear me, and there's very little that I could do about it. It's weird how, like, accessibility options like that we've had for, like, over 30 years, some games still don't have them. Like, being able to change the controls and, like, lower the sound. Doge. Ooh, is that a counter? Tutorial is a little bit weird. Some things that should be explained are not. And then you have stuff like this where I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. A little bit disjointed. Okay, so what's all this here? Alright, so I was right, that Y button thing is a parry. Is my mic on, by the way? Pretty hungry. I'm probably gonna go make my leftovers in a bit, but I wanted to check this out because I said I would. Yeah, alright, good. It's PSO2 New Genesis demo for beta tomorrow, so I'm gonna be checking that out. I have the day off. I want to try this parry. Very tight timing. I can't even get this once. It's definitely not a generous parry. It's not like Amelia in Assault Spy. That parry is kind of interesting though, because it's like you can't just mash it in that game. If you try to do the counter, you can still get hit. You definitely have to pay attention to like attacks that hit more than once. Here, it's like you just have like feels like you have like a very small window. Doesn't really seem worth using. I want to see if it like actually helps. Okay, so first thing that bothers me about this game is certain attacks can't be cancelled. Feels very stiff. Like this Helmbreaker thing, can't cancel it. You can see me mashing the dodge button. He doesn't do it until the animation's completely finished. Which feels really stiff, especially for like a roguelike kind of thing where there's a lot more weight to getting hit in something like this compared to like, you know, your average modern game where you have checkpoints and stuff. The fact that some of these moves you can't cancel out of them feels really dumb. That should be like the bare minimum. Essentially means that a lot of those moves are going to get you killed unless you have like perfect opening. We all know me, that's like my least favorite thing in an action game. I feel like I'm stuck in an animation. Yeah, this feels really stiff. You need to be able to cancel at any time. It's also the problem of like going through the enemies with attacks as well. Dodge is a fuck ton of recovery too. I don't know how you were supposed to fight like multiple enemies in this game the way it is now. Very stiff, unresponsive. Like, even in Dead Cells, when you do the ground pound, you can still, like... You can still cancel out of it. Here, feels like they want you to use it to go down, but if something's directly below you, you're boned. You're gonna get hit. kunai. Cool. Okay, you can at least cancel that. That feels pretty nice. Actually, this one's better. What's with the cancel timing in this game, man? If you're gonna make me die in 4 hits, I need to be able to cancel out of an animation at any given time. Not this shit where he takes like a fiscal year to do it. That's what feels really shitty about this game. Like, what were they thinking? Okay, so you've got a roguelite where you have 1 life to clear the game, but your character's fucking stiff as molasses, and he can't cancel out of anything. He's too slow. I didn't like Dead Cells much, but that game did this kind of thing way better. If you're asking somebody to play the game for an hour without dying, then that's the bare minimum for it to feel actually good. I need to see what's in here, though. I haven't, like, looked up anything on this. Maybe there's something that, like, makes it better or something. But he feels very unresponsive. Yeah, the hitboxes feel off, and then the fact that you can't cancel just makes it worse. The dodge has a ton of recovery, too. I don't really feel like a lot of these deaths have been my fault. Alright, so what's in here? I mean, that's like the #1 thing with a roguelike, at least an action one like this, is for you to feel like when you die, it's your fault. And when you die and it's not your fault, I feel like the game has failed, in my opinion. Oh hey, we've got martial arts in this game. I'm noticing this too, the shit to upgrade on the weapons is very boring. It's nothing that really changes how you play. I don't really get too hype about just damage up and stuff. I need a little bit more than that to keep me engaged. This game feels alright so far, but it feels incredibly stiff, and that's kind of a problem when they're asking you to beat the game without dying. That's not how it should be. I guess these are like early access stuff. It's nothing that like makes you cancel faster. That's kind of what I was hoping I'd find in here. It's just stats, which is boring. I'll give this another couple tries. I might actually just wait for them to patch this game. Because right now it's really feeling like a lot of these deaths are not my fault. I mean, he's only able to withstand like 5 hits before he dies. There's more to the weapons than Dead Cells, though, which is nice. The thing I didn't like about Dead Cells was the fact that the weapons were, like, almost all the same. They just had different animations. Remember, it took them a long time to make the weapons, like, actually, the slow weapons actually have use. They were really bad for a long time. Last I checked, they're in a pretty good spot now, but I just didn't like the combat in that game. It felt too mashy. There wasn't anything to it. They went with a quantity of weapons instead of a quality. Yeah, exactly. That's a big turnoff for me so far. I was hoping they'd have, like, better cancel timing or, like, new mechanics or something. When it's just 5% more damage, I'm already, like, not very interested. I need more than that to be engaged. I'm not gonna keep playing if I just do, like, 10 points of damage. That's definitely something they're going to need to address as they continue to update this. It's also weird how you can, like, hug the enemies, like, go through their hitbox, their hurt box. It's, like, not much collision. Visually, I think this game looks great. A lot of people are complaining that it's 2.5D, but this looks way better than your average 2.5D game. It's very aesthetically pleasing to play. I think they nailed the whole ancient Japanese art style a lot better than other games have. Visually, it's fine. It's just mechanically it feels a little bit unresponsive. You know, in a game like this, you really need to nail, like, getting hit is completely your fault, not the fault of the character not being able to respond fast enough. That's what's really missing. Well, it's because in an RPG, you can play to your heart's content, and you have, like, other progression systems. But when you're messing with a roguelike, where you have one life to finish the game, and it's generally a more hardcore-oriented experience than any RPG. You know, when your persistent elements are just doing 5 points of damage, that's not really going to engage the average person. Or at least the average person that would play something like this in the first place, which is, you know, a lot of people won't touch it. A good example is Returnal. That game is getting a lot of attention, mostly because it's an exclusive PS5 game. There's, like, barely any of those. The PS5 and the Xbox X Series X have like very little exclusive stuff on them, so people are buying that game just because it's something that actually utilizes the power of the console instead of just being a port or a remaster. And you're getting all these comments about people saying like, why do I start from the beginning when I die? A lot of people aren't even really accustomed to these kinds of games in the first place. I think this being a roguelike will benefit it a lot when they make the mechanics more responsive. And they add more interesting, persistent elements. But right now, I don't really feel that engaged playing this because everything is just more damage. Which is the problem with games like Avengers and shit, too, is those games have shit loot. Hey, got him. Returnal just feels like, from what I've watched a decent amount of gameplay on that, it feels like the kind of game that's just getting attention because it's available at launch. It's available at launch, and there's like barely anything else to play. It reminds me of like other launch games for new generations, like you know, the Bouncer, Fantavision, Pilot Wing 64. Those aren't games that people really fondly remember. They were played because, you know, that's all that was there. There wasn't anything else. Alright, how do I get martial arts? These skill trees are very boring too. It's all just more damage. It's nothing really engaging to unlock. I will say the graphics options for this game are actually very nice. The fact that I can go in here and change the frame rate without having to go into the engine and do it is really nice. This is an Unreal Engine game, so you could very easily do it with an I tweak, but I appreciate when a game does this. It's one of those accessibility things that a lot of games don't have. It's either like 60 FPS or unlimited, and then you have to go into like the control panel or something and fix it. I really like that they have this. This game's okay. The combat is the unresponsiveness of the combat, and the progression's very boring. Those are my main issues with it. Persistent elements are shit right now, actually. It's all just stats. There's nothing interesting. Alright, that's a slow weapon, so I feel like I should not even bother taking it, but we're gonna try it. Yep, exactly like I thought. You can't cancel this until the end of the animation, so if something moves or they have a hitbox out, you're done. Standard bad slow weapon, because it's the amount of damage you do doesn't really circumvent how much danger you're going to be put into just by using it. Dead Cells had that problem for a long time too. Like, those weapons were never worth using. Just try the martial arts. Alright, this already feels like way better. Oh shit. Fucking key palm. I approve. The platforming actually feels quite good. The platforming feels better than the combat does. It feels very similar to Dead Cells, which is one of the things I really liked about that game. The platforming felt pretty good. felt like the character actually did what you said. You weren't dealing with, like, usual stuff like, you know, your guy doesn't listen to what you say, so you die. Alright, well I have no potions, so if the boss is next, I'm just gonna wipe. I got rid of the good weapon too because I love martial arts. I think that weapon was pretty bad though. He had to wait until the end of that, like, half-second long animation to cancel. Which did not feel good in the slightest. I don't know how you're supposed to use that weapon against, like, multiple enemies without taking damage. You can't take anything in this game either, so... Nice. Overall, I think I would probably wait to buy this game. The progression and the responsiveness needs a lot of work. They have a really great foundation, but I don't see anything to really grind for, and if you're going to have a roguelike without anything interesting to grind for, then it might as well just be a standard game. That's kind of the problem I'm having right now. I'm not going to sit here and grind for 5% more damage. I need a lot more than that to be invested, and right now it's not there, and certain things you can't cancel out of fast enough, or at all. And you're seeing how much damage I'm taking. I don't want to feel like I'm taking hits because the guy won't cancel. A good example is this. Look at my controller visualizer. I'm mashing the dodge button. He doesn't do it until the animation is completely finished. So if you use this and it doesn't kill something outright, you're going to get hit. The cancel timings and progression elements need a lot of adjustment. Like, all this really does is just gives me more health. Hope there's more later. Alright, well, I've had enough of that. That game needs a lot of work. It's even lacking stuff that Dead Cells has. Dead Cells had a really nice, like, long grind of being able to increase the quality of weapons. Things like that. And you had things that you could unlock with it. So it felt like, you know, if you kept getting bodied by the game, you were still making, like, forward progress. But I don't know, in that game, I'm not going to sit there and grind for 100 more health points. I generally don't like that kind of thing in any game, but in a balls hard roguelike, you definitely need more than that. I would definitely wait. It feels like that game needs a lot of work. Luckily, they've got a nice foundation. The game looks great. I think they really nailed the ancient Japanese art style. You know, it's not pixel art, but at the same time, it's not like skeletal animation either. The game doesn't look cheap. It looks like they put a lot of work into how it looks. It's just how it plays and how it grows from playthrough to playthrough is probably the main issues with that game. They're asking $25 for it. I think the price is actually not going to go up. I think they're charging a premium for it, but supposedly the price is not going to raise. So If you're strapped for cash, I would not buy that right now. Feels like one of those things where you could just hop into it like 6 months later and probably have a better experience than what I've got right now. It feels more complete than the average early access game. It doesn't have like 10 minutes of content. You get a lot out of it right now. It's just, I don't know, persistent elements feel really off. Let's see, do I feel like doing anything else? I think I feel like eating lunch is what I feel like doing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Uh, I'm not gonna refund the game or do anything drastic about it like that, but I definitely will. I'll watch it, let's see how it develops. Biomutant, no, I haven't really watched anything on that game. I have not watched anything on that at all. When does that come out? When does Biomutant come out? Let me check right now. Well, that comes out this month. Well, I can already tell you that's not happening because I am very low on cash right now. I'm very low. I have like almost no gaming budget left. So, full $60 games that I have a high chance of not liking are not going to be happening right now, barring like an Oil Prince donation. I had enough to get this and the Battle for the Grid DLC in 2 weeks. That's about the extent of my gaming budget, unless I get some crazy random support from somebody, which is not something I really bank on. So, yeah. I mean, I could apply for a key for it, but that feels like a relatively high profile game, and generally the publishers of games like that they won't even bat an eye towards somebody like me because I don't have the numbers. I need to do more research on that game, see if it's something I would actually like. It seems like I might like it, but the price is way out of my range right now. These next few months are going to be really expensive. Going to be very expensive to run this channel. All right, I'll catch you guys after I eat.